Welcome back to another episode of the Natty Teacher. I'm, of course, your host, the Natty Teacher. In today's lesson, we got a push day, our push B session. You can break it up however you want. You can call your push days just push day, push 1, push 2, push A, push B, push blue, push red. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Have fun with it. It's up to you to decide. But pretty simple exercise selection. Incline press, flat machine press, some sort of fly-based movement. Most likely, I'm going to guess the gym will be relatively busy right now, so probably like a dumbbell fly. And then some side delt work and some triceps and then abs, which it all sounds like a lot, but after we get done with the pressing especially, my rest periods are, again, they're no more than like, a minute and a half to 2 minutes, and I'm not ever really doing anything more than like 3 working sets of a movement at the most, 2 to 3 working sets of a movement. So usually, it sounds like a lot of work. It will move relatively efficiently. This is a workout I should be able to complete within an hour and a half at the most. So, anywhoozle, I'm excited. I love this push day. It is, again, it's the exercise selection I have today. I don't want to call it an easier push day. I will say, though, that it is physically a little less taxing than my bigger push day that I have on Sunday, where I have like that Smith, a heavier Smith press and, a heavier high incline dumbbell press. Today is a little bit, again, just not quite as physically taxing. So, and I kind of set up my training that way. To where we're really blasting it early on in the week. And then today, our top sets, we will never try to dip below 8 to 10 reps for a top set today. On Sundays, however, you will see sometimes like a top set in that, 6 rep range or so, potentially. So that's 6 to 8 rep range or whatever. So it is, again, a little bit, again, not easier, but not quite as physically taxing. There you go. So we'll start out the workout today with a incline plate-loaded press. It's a company. I'll tell you this. I've said it before in my videos, I think, and it's probably not the most common piece of equipment in a lot of gyms. I've never seen it before up until training at this gym, but I've also not trained at a ton of gyms. Fair amount, but not a ridiculous amount. But it's a Magnum incline press. It's called. The brand is called Magnum, and it's a converging incline press, and it can be a phenomenal pressing variation for you, pressing movement, but you got to do it right. I see a lot of people who, there are 2 sets of handles. There's a top handle and then like a neutral grip that connects it, and then a bottom handle like that. I see a lot of people use the bottom handle, which is cool because you can use a lot of weight, and so it looks really cool. But the problem is you can use a lot of weight because the leverage is completely different. When you're down at that bottom handle, what people have a tendency to do is it swoops the weight. So instead of having to actually push up with the chest and, come straight up and converge the handles together like that, it is more of like an up through motion, which is super easy to do. Like, I was using those bottom handles when I first started training at that gym, and without ever really, barely using the machine, I'm pretty sure the top set, I was able to do like 5 plates for a set of 8, with essentially no technique, form, practice, or anything, without really actually getting used to the machine. Within a very short period of time I was. So now I switched to using the top handles and have been building up my strength correctly with that. And again, it can be a phenomenal press if done correctly. But regardless, I digress. That will be the first movement on the docket today. We'll, of course, do some mobility work to get nice and loosened up, some band work, some dumbbell work, get the shoulders and chest and triceps and arms and essentially everything from the waist up, for a lack of better terms. Get a little blood in there before we really just rush into getting into any kind of, pressing or what have you. So top set of that plate-loaded incline press coming at you right about now. As promised, we got that converging plate-loaded chest press. Nice controlled movement here, nice range of motion. So again, you'll see what I'll do is I'll bring it up nice and hard out of the bottom, sit in that stretch position. So you'll see in this part right here, I actually sit there for a moment. So I kind of stop all momentum. So that does, it does make you utilize a little bit less weight than you could do if you limited that range of motion and just kind of pumped the reps up. But man, this felt great. Added a rep onto this same top set from last week. Last week we did this for a set of 8. This week we actually did this for a set of 9. So that felt really, really good. Really, again, emphasizing that stretch, push, push, push. And we got it. Okay, so good stuff here. Dropped down to 4 plates plus a 5 on each side, did 8 in a row, and then ended up doing a rest pause set and did 2 more reps for a total set of 10 for that back off rest pause set. Then added 5 pounds to our machine chest press. Last week we hit 5 pounds less than this for 10. We added 5 pounds, hit the top set for 9. So again, we're in that 8 to 12 rep range, which is where I want to be for the majority of my pressing movements. So that was good, but really good control. Again, really, really getting that nice big chest when we follow through and push through. Like right here, we're really pushing that chest out and up, and really mainly out than any, more than anything. But really getting that nice deep stretch and really, really getting a big chest at the end of that movement. Okay, 2 working sets here. Again, both within that 8 to 12 rep range. We did drop the weight on that second set though. Then neutral grip machine shoulder press. Now this one I was kind of surprised because my front delts were still like fried from Sunday, just because just some lower rep work I had done that kind of just did a little bit more muscular damage than I would have liked. So this is actually my second set. Right now in this machine shoulder press, I'm working with like 185, and I did a top set last week of 185 for 9. This week I did a top set of 10, and it felt smooth, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna keep 185 on here and see how many we can get on a second set. You know, getting a nice, controlled, nice controlled tempo, getting those handles down, getting a good range of motion, and going from there. And sure as crap, I ended up hitting another set of 10 without even racking the weight. So I was surprised. I was very pleasantly surprised. So I hit 2 sets of 10 here at 185. So not only did I add a rep onto it from last week, but I also did another set at that weight for another rep higher. So that was cool. Then cable flies here, and I'm glad I recorded this one just for my own sake. I have never been great at cable flies, and what I noticed was with this one, I definitely stepped too far out. It absolutely was hitting my chest, but I did get quite a bit of shoulder recruitment in here as well. So I ended up going back. There was a recent video uploaded from Hani Rambod where he trained with Jared Feather. I'm a huge fan of Hani and also of Jared Feather and the guys over at RP. And one of the exercises they did was some chest flies. And again, absolutely nothing wrong with this type of form, but I noticed that I took way too big of a step out, and really I need to keep my arms a little bit more parallel with my shoulders, meaning to kind of have the handles coming across the upper chest with how I'm trying to actually do these chest flies. So again, not bad at all. But on my second working set, I didn't record that one, but I definitely lined that up a little bit higher, stepped back a little bit more, and it felt really good. So 2 working sets there. I was using like 60 pounds per hand. Again, in that like 10 to 12, well, I did like 13, and then I think like 10 or 11. So on those sets. Then some cable side laterals. This was our, I want to say back off set. If it's 10, which I'm not counting, it was our back off set. So I did, 40 pounds per hand for a set of 12, and then a set of 10, and then a set of 8. So that is an indicator for me that I can go up a little bit. We'll probably just add like a 2.5 on there next week. And continue to climb up there. If I'm hitting 3 sets within that 8 to 12 rep range with the top weight, then I am exactly where I want to be to move forward. And it was great form, very comfortable. So again, when we line up, make sure we're putting that hand, about 15 degrees in front of being parallel with the side of the body, and just bring that arm up and out, guys. That's really about it. I like to do a really big range of motion. You absolutely do not have to do that big of a range of motion. And I actually may play with limiting that range of motion a little bit more, but I have just found I really dig doing that kind of range of motion. But we'll see, maybe I'll play with it. Then tricep push downs here, okay? We got some machine tricep push downs, added 10 pounds from last week and ended up doing 3 working sets there. So just to give you guys an idea of the weight, when I'm doing this exercise, guys, I don't know if this is a lot or a little, depends on who you are and what cables you're used to, but I'm only using like 160 pounds. So I am not, doing these crazy heavy tricep push downs where I'm using 250 pounds at the stack or something. I mean, these stacks only go up to 200 pounds, but regardless, no, I'm not doing that. You'll see I get a really nice control. I'm loading the crap out of those triceps and then pushing down hard and really squeezing. You can see those triceps popping hard at the bottom right there. I get that nice hard flex in the triceps and go from there. So I'm leaning over the weight ever so slightly, but really keeping my shoulders pinned back, at least for the most part. 3 working sets there. I would keep that in that 10 to 15 rep range. Then this is a terrible camera angle. I apologize. But we have some overhead tricep extensions here. This has become one of my favorites. I really like it. I did 3 working sets here. Again, I would highly recommend keeping this in that 10 to 15 rep range. Really control that weight. Load the triceps. I should show you a little tutorial on how to step out with the weight here. It is very simple. If you've never done this before, it looks like it might be challenging to do because you got to step out and you got to control it and all that. Again, that's where making sure you're using a reasonable amount of weight comes into play. But again, I did 3 working sets here. I would highly recommend keeping all of those within that 10 to 15, maybe 10 to 20 rep range. Really squeeze those triceps, and get that nice deep stretch and full range of motion. Okay. Only thing I didn't record is I did do 3 sets of abdominal crunches, and here we go with the outro. Push B session in the books. Hey man, another great one. Felt awesome. Felt nice and strong. Felt raring and ready to frickin' go. It's good stuff. Great stuff. Good stuff. Great stuff. That's what I like. It's what I like, and no doubt. It was awesome stuff, man. So tomorrow will be a little bit different. Tomorrow we don't have to report until noon. So we have, pretty good amount of hours of teacher work time in the afternoon. Then we have our open house tomorrow evening where we get to meet parents and students and stuff like that for the upcoming year. So we'll have that. So my schedule is a little different tomorrow, which means my upload will be a little bit different tomorrow. The plan is to get up, eat my pre-workout meal. So just have 1 meal tomorrow morning, and then go to the gym and come home, have my post-workout meal, let that settle for an hour and a half, have my do my cardio then, so flip my fasted cardio with post second meal cardio, and then shower, have meal number 3, and at that point should be about time to head into work. So it'll be a relatively early day, not super early, but relatively early, and we'll get it going from there. So yeah, man, again, great stuff today. Already excited for tomorrow's workout. It's gonna be awesome. I love working out in the morning. I really do. So I do have a handful of morning workouts over the next couple weeks. With Labor Day weekend, we don't have, we go in late tomorrow, we don't work Friday. So I do have a handful of morning workouts that will still be occurring over the next couple weeks, but the majority of them will be now later in the afternoon. So hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. Hopefully y'all can see that thickness and density continuing to be added on whilst still holding on to that good condition. Again, I'm not super, it's not like I'm, 50 pounds above my stage weight. Again, I'm hovering right about that 20 pounds over my stage weight right now. And we are, well over 2 months post-show at this point, I guess not well over, maybe 2 months and a week or 2 months and a couple days, but over 2 months post-show. So I'm happy that I've, not made crazy jumps on the scale and been able to still hold on to some good conditioning and shape and symmetry and all that kind of stuff. So, if you liked the video, drop a like. Make sure you share it to your friends. Tell them the Natty teacher is back in school. School is in session. We got a fresh school year coming at y'all. You guys will get more and more insights into some of the personal ins and outs of, being the Natty teacher here and there. And some more, some posing videos to come. Again, just kind of like pump check kind of stuff. It's not going to be like full blown, here's my mandatory poses, and I'm not going to do that. I feel like that's kind of a lot, and it's a lot of time too, and a lot of like viewing time. But I will upload either some snapshots or some video clips of some posing here real soon. So just trying to find the time. Usually I'm kind of like boom, from one thing to the other right now, especially now that the school year has officially started. So anyways, again, make sure you like and share the video. Drop a comment below with any questions and feedback you got. If you have not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It always helps. It is a big help for sure. And yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. But for today, I am the Natty teacher, and this 11th or 12th, I think 11th episode of Road to Natty Pro is out. I will catch y'all on the flippity flop.